Hi everyone, welcome back to my another video. So today's video is about Tello again, but this time I will explain in details how to getting started for software development with Tello. So before we going further, perhaps this is the very fundamental question that many of you that asked me through Facebook, through YouTube. The first one is how to communicate with Tello. How do we commandeer Tello? How do we get the sensor information? How do we get the video stream? And then maybe the last one is the how to program Tello onboard flight controller. The last question have a straight answers. Okay, we won't program the Tello onboard flight controller because we can't. Okay, what we can do is Tello only provide us the communication through UDP so that we can send command to control it to get the sensor information and then get the video stream, but not much, nothing more than that. Okay, we can't program or flash this board inside here. So the first one is we need to gathering the information from the Tello SDK documentation by Ryze. So this is the info that I extract out from that documentation for you guys. So the first one is we know that it uses the UDP communication protocols. It has 3 UDP ports to be used. For example, here you can see this diagram. This is the sequence diagrams that I draw. The first one is port 8889 and then 8890 and 1111. So this port is to be used for the command port, and this port is to be used for the sensor data, to stream the sensor data, and for the video stream coming from the Tello camera is going to use this port. So let me explain the diagram here. This host here is stand for our PC, okay, or device. So the first one, to enter the SDK, okay, we need to send the command message to enter the SDK mode. Then to enable the video stream, we need to follow up with the stream on message. Okay, there's no specified time after this command, how long do we need to wait, but I suggest straightforward after command. Okay, so in here you can see that the host send command to Tello UDP port 8889, and then if success, Tello will reply back with OK, and then together along with the from the UDP port 8890 to send the Tello state, temperature, battery, barometer, altitude, for example. And but if not success, fail, then it will send error string back to the host computer. Same with stream on. Okay, if success, okay, but if error, then it will return error. And together, if success, it will return the video stream coming from this port 11111. Okay, there are more commands to control Tello, for example, take off, landing. So this you can get the information from this documentation, you can read on. Now we talk about the sensor data information. So sensor data received from Tello is in string. For example, pitch, roll, yaw, and here is some of the reference for you guys. Pitch here, yaw here, roll, and altitude. So each parameter is delimited by a semicolon. Okay, and the sensor value use C style format. For example, %d here is an integer, %.2f is a float. So we know that for the acceleration, it has a floating value. More information we can get, for example, Wi-Fi signal to noise ratio (SNR). We can send this command, then we can get back the response. I think this is important. These parameters. This indicate the signal to noise ratio of the Wi-Fi signal. So if the Wi-Fi SNR value is too low, perhaps you need to turn off your Tello and continue when it's safe, when you have a strong Wi-Fi signal. Sensor data have 2 parameters for the altitude. One is height, one is for TOF. Okay, you can see that here is a TOF, and another one is height. H is stand for height. So what's the difference? Height is a relative altitude based on the initial takeoff, and the TOF is the absolute altitude using time of flight sensor. TOF here is stand for time of flight. Similarly, like sonar, so it has absolute distance. But height here is, for example, if you fly Tello from a table, then the distance is 10 centimeters. The height is 10 centimeters. When you moving Tello that don't have the distance, this distance anymore, okay, they have much further, but the distance in height is still in 10 centimeters. Okay, so the video stream information we're going to get by UDP communication. I'm suggest to use OpenCV. It's much simpler. By using this function CV, I am sure you can display the frame already. Here is some tips before we start the programming. Each port, all of these ports surely use a separate thread to handle the communication and messages. I recommend not to use any blocking operations such as time.sleep, okay, so that your program is much fluent. Ensure the program had been unit tested. For example, if you're using Python, you can use a Python unit test framework. Handle errors for every operation. For example, here you can see that this kind of error is frequently happen in Python. For example, if you want to access some key inside the dictionary and the key does not exist, it will return this error. So we don't want your script break when Tello is flying. Okay. So, and always has a backup plan before run program to control Tello. Okay, for example, if the program halt or crash while Tello is flying, what going to do? So you need to have a backup plan. Perhaps when you test your script, maybe not fly Tello very far on very high altitude. Perhaps it's just like 1 meters. So if anything happen, then you can grab it or shut it down. Then the next one is to verify the ID. Of course, I have a liberty to provide for you in my Bitbucket repository the Tello command script to stream the sensor state and also the video stream. So let's check it. You can check out this link. I will put in my description later. So here I put for the Tello command. Here's a script for sending and receiving message, just for this part. Okay, for this part, this is the command. Okay, so here you can see I explain explicitly what is a Tello IP. This is Tello IP address. It uses local IP address since host computer device is a Wi-Fi client to Tello. Okay, so first this computer right now need to connect to Tello using Wi-Fi. Tello become the access point. So my computer is going to connect with Tello, and this is Tello IP address. And then the Tello port to send communication is 8889, and then the host IP 0000, referring to our current host computer IP address. This is well known. Okay. And of course, when Tello going to send back the message, we need to receive it somewhere. So I open it port 9000 to receive those informations. Okay, I bind that. Here you can see I create Tello class. Inside this class, I have a terminate function. So let's go to line 68. Okay, in this line 68, basically I creating a thread to run this Tello receive command. Okay, so basically this receive command is on another thread. Okay, but terminate and send is within this class. So what I want to do is, after what my plan is, when I start this receive thread, I want to have a control to able to terminate it, okay, properly. So here you can see I create a new object Tello, and then I create a new thread t.receive. Okay, it will run on spirit thread, and then this is the main loop. Okay, so while true, I will try to get input from the Python CLI. If the message is by, then I will terminate it. I will call the t-terminate function. The t-terminate function will toggle the value underscore running private variable here to false. So when this happen, this receive will exit this loop. Okay, and then I want the receive thread, this receive thread, to join back to the current thread. Okay, and that's it. So in this method, I will have a control to this thread briefly. So for the send command, if I get input from the Python CLI, I will use this interface t.sendMessage, and then this will send message to Tello using this command. So when I did this, so it basically have a two-spirit process. One is simultaneously polling information from Tello on port 88 from the port 9000 coming here, okay, and the second one is to send the message to Tello. So this, when you run this script, it will simultaneously get information and send the information and get the response back from Tello. Okay, so here it is. Then second is the Tello state. We know that after we able to send the command to Tello, it will, if success, it will pass the information 8890 back to Tello state. Back to host, together with the Tello state like temperature, battery, etc. So this script is doing that. What this script does is it always listen to this port 8890, okay, and then it still have a spirit thread to receive those information and print it. And then same as the previous script, it has a new thread, okay, getting the input. Even though we are not sending anything to Tello using this script, but every my script I have this message equal to input, so that I can enter, for example, by command here, and then it will terminate the script. So perhaps this become a more appropriate action to kill the thread and to terminate our script. And then also you can see I use try and accept here in case the this does not work. Perhaps then I can using a keyboard interrupt to terminate the thread as well. Okay, then the last one is a Tello stream. In this Tello stream, I'm using a CV2 OpenCV to display the video. Okay, so here still we need to stand the stream on, but in case if let's say the video stream enable is success, okay, then UDP port 1111 will send the video stream back to the host. And here is how I did it. I'm using a CV2 video capture function. This address UDP port, our host IP, and then the port number, and then same, I still create a class Tello, and same in terminate function here, but this time instead I socket close the operation, I using video release and destroy all windows when closing. And this also I run this on the spirit thread, okay, and in this spirit thread, while it running, it will read the information, read the frame, get the frame, and then I resize it, okay, just to improve the latency, and then display the image, display the frame, then wait for the 1 milliseconds, and then that's it. Then I also try to catch the exception, anything, so that the program doesn't crash, so I can see what error is going on. Same as before, I have a message input so that I can send by command to terminate and exit the script properly. Okay, so here all of this, I think the three main script that perhaps you need to getting started with Tello. And maybe some of you may ask, how do we get to install OpenCV? I know this is maybe some when my early days in OpenCV, this become one of the biggest issue as well. I'm still not sure how to install it properly, how to build it. I'm know nothing about it. Okay, but I got it figured out for now. So for OpenCV, for installation in Windows, there's two types. You can install OpenCV from the pre-built binary. Okay, download the OpenCV release from GitHub. Okay, got the link here. Unzip it, copy CV to .pyd to your Python library, your chosen Python version under folder lib and side packages. And then the detailed installation guide available here if you want to know more. And then that's it, done. But if you want to have more features, for example, you want to enable some of the compiler switch, for example, then you can install OpenCV from source code. First, you need to install the Microsoft Visual Studio, not the Visual Studio Code. That Visual Studio Code is the IDE, but Visual Studio is like the C++ development for the Microsoft. Okay, you need to install that. Okay, then you need to install the Microsoft Visual C++ compiler. Okay, again download the OpenCV source code, but this time it's source code. Install CMake. Okay, build OpenCV source code using CMake. Then open this SLN project file in Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, right click all, build. Okay, this is only like a shortcut on the steps. If you want to know more, then you just click to this link. Here is the official documentation from OpenCV. Okay, they have some pictures. Okay, but what I did, I like to have some of the overview. What do we need to install it? Okay, so basically install Visual Studio Code, install the compiler, install the CMake, then build the OpenCV source code using CMake, build the project, and then install it. That's it. Okay, and then you're done. But for the Ubuntu, perhaps you can use this method using apt install python OpenCV, libOpenCV core development. Then I think this is much shorter way if you're going on the Ubuntu. But my further development is going to be on Windows. Then recently I figured out this one, so perhaps it useful for you too. Here is, I also put this description, this readme in my repository, so you can check it out later. Okay, next, the last one is then you can crunch those keyboard for the code. Okay, you can develop your own module. I suggest whatever script that I provide here. So you create a class for it. Okay, so that it become an object. So you can create an object from this class. Okay, so it become modular. Okay, then of course you need to verify the simple routine. Then don't forget for unit test your code. If you're using Python, unit test. If you're using C++ for this project, then using Google test and beyond. Then you can start developing application with Tello. But before that happen, perhaps you may start with the use case diagram. Okay, define your use case scenario. What happen if this happen? What happen? What's going next if that doesn't happen? What happen if system crash, for example? And then draw your state machine. Okay, this kind of homework that you need to do before you going into the code. I can say that the code is pretty straightforward if you know what you need to do. Okay, and then perhaps you need to login system. For example, many time my Tello is suddenly landing. I'm not sure what happened. So login system will help you very much. For example, then after that I know that whenever Tello automatically landing, I see that the correlation between the battery and the temperatures. Then after that I know that Tello has a limitation in temperature rating. When it hit like 87 or 90 degrees Celsius, then I can see the performance is degrading, and slowly I lose control from my computer to Tello by the UDP communication. So that's why from this login system, I know which parameter I need to put a boundary for Tello to fly safe. So I think that's all for my tips getting started with Tello. So anything that you want to ask, I open with my Facebook Messenger. You can chat me there. You can send your question to my email. You can even ask in the comment below. So if I will help when I can. Okay, so keep watching my videos, and see you next time. Bye.